Look, I need to tell you about one of the weirdest gardening experiments I've ever done, and honestly, the results blew my mind. I planted 8 different perennials in pure sand. Not sandy soil, not a sand mix, just straight construction sand with absolutely zero organic matter, zero compost, nothing, just sand. And before you think I've completely lost it, there's actually a really good reason for doing this. See, I've been getting tons of questions from viewers dealing with drainage problems, clay soil, and wet spots in their gardens where plants just sit there and rot. So I wanted to find out which perennials could handle the most extreme drainage conditions possible, because if a plant can thrive in pure sand, it's definitely going to survive in your well-drained garden bed. The interesting thing is most gardening advice tells you to add compost, add organic matter, improve your soil, and that's great advice for most plants. But there's this whole category of perennials that actually hate all that rich, moisture-retentive stuff. They want the exact opposite. They want fast drainage, lean soil, and honestly, they couldn't care less about fertility. So let me tell you about these 8 perennials and what happened when I planted them in pure sand 6 months ago. Because 3 of them actually grew bigger than the same varieties I planted in regular garden soil at the same time. That's not just surviving, that's thriving. The first one I tested was lavender. Now, lavender comes from the Mediterranean where it grows naturally in rocky, sandy hillsides with basically no organic matter. And in my sand experiment, it absolutely exploded. The growth was dense, compact, and the stems were actually woodier and stronger than the ones in regular soil. Here's the thing about lavender. When you give it rich, moisture-retentive soil, the roots sit in dampness and you get root rot. But in pure sand, water drains through in seconds, the roots stay dry between waterings, and the plant just takes off. The foliage was this gorgeous silver green color, super aromatic, and when it bloomed, the flowers were actually more vibrant than my soil-grown plants. Second on my list was sedum, specifically Sedum spurium. This stuff is practically indestructible anyway, but in pure sand, it was like watching it on fast forward. It spread quickly, formed this tight mat, and the leaves were thick and succulent. What's happening here is that sedums are built for drought and poor soil. When you grow them in rich soil with regular moisture, they get leggy, they stretch out, and they're more prone to flopping over. But in sand, they stay compact and dense because they're actually getting the stress conditions they evolved for. That stress makes them stronger. The third perennial was dianthus, those amazing little plants with the spicy scented flowers. I planted a variety with pink blooms, and I have to tell you, I was a bit skeptical about this one. But dianthus comes from rocky mountainous regions in Europe, and it showed. In the sand, it formed tight little mounds of silver blue foliage and just pumped out flowers for weeks. The key with dianthus is that it absolutely despises wet feet. Plant it in clay or heavy soil and it'll sulk and eventually rot. But in sand, the crown of the plant stays dry, which is exactly what it wants. Number 4 was thyme. I used creeping thyme, and this was one of those plants that didn't just survive, it actually looked healthier than my soil-grown thyme. The stems were more compact, the leaves were smaller but more abundant, and the whole plant had this incredible fragrance. Thyme is another Mediterranean native, and in nature it grows in rocky, sandy areas where drainage is instant. In my sand experiment, it proved that it really doesn't need any soil fertility to thrive. It was perfectly happy pulling whatever nutrients it needed from my occasional liquid fertilizer applications. The 5th perennial I tested was yarrow. Now, yarrow grows wild along roadsides and in terrible soil all over the place, so I figured it would handle sand. And it did. But here's what surprised me. The foliage stayed much more compact and the plant didn't flop over like yarrow often does in garden beds. In richer soil, yarrow tends to grow tall and then needs staking, but in sand, it stayed lower and sturdier. The flower heads were maybe slightly smaller, but the trade-off was a much better-looking plant overall. Number 6 was Russian sage. This one's technically a subshrub, but most people treat it as a perennial. And let me tell you, Russian sage in pure sand was stunning. It comes from the steppes of Central Asia where conditions are dry, poor, and rocky, so sand is basically a luxury resort for this plant. The silvery foliage was perfect, the stems were strong, and when it bloomed, those purple flower spikes lasted for months. Russian sage is one of those plants that actually performs worse when you pamper it. Give it rich soil and lots of water, and it gets floppy and needs cutting back. In sand, it stays architectural and beautiful. The seventh perennial was Salvia nemorosa, also called woodland sage, though that name is kind of misleading because it really doesn't like woodland conditions. In my sand test, it formed tight clumps and sent up tons of flower spikes. The purple blooms were incredible, and the plant just kept reblooming. What I noticed was that in sand, the foliage stayed cleaner with less of the mildew issues that salvia can sometimes get in humid, poorly drained conditions. And the eighth perennial I planted in pure sand was Delosperma, commonly called ice plant. This is a succulent ground cover with these crazy bright flowers, and it's native to South Africa where it grows in sandy, rocky soil. In pure sand, it was absolutely in its element. The fleshy leaves stayed plump and healthy, and when it bloomed, the flowers were this intense magenta that almost hurt to look at. Delosperma is totally hardy in most climates, despite being a succulent, but the one thing it cannot tolerate is wet soil in winter. In sand, there's zero chance of that problem. Now, I do need to mention how I actually manage the watering and feeding for these plants, because obviously pure sand holds zero water and has zero nutrients. For the first month after planting, I watered every single day, sometimes twice a day during hot spells, just to establish the roots. After that, I backed off to every 2 to 3 days, depending on weather. And for nutrients, I used a diluted liquid fertilizer about once a week during the growing season. The plants needed that because there's literally nothing in sand for them to feed on. But here's the really interesting part. Even with that frequent watering schedule, these plants were healthier than the same varieties in regular garden soil that I watered maybe once a week. Why? Because the drainage was so perfect that even with daily watering, the roots were never sitting in moisture. They'd get a drink, the water would drain through immediately, and then the roots would be in air. That's the magic combination these plants want. So what does this mean for your garden? Well, if you've got drainage problems, clay soil, or spots where water sits, these 8 perennials are bulletproof choices. You don't need to grow them in pure sand like I did. That was an extreme test. But it proves that these plants will thrive in any well-drained situation. Add some coarse sand to your planting holes, maybe some gravel, create a raised bed, whatever it takes to improve drainage, and these perennials will reward you with incredible growth. The big takeaway from this experiment is that for these Mediterranean and alpine plants, drainage is more important than fertility. You can always add nutrients with fertilizer, but if the drainage is wrong, no amount of feeding will save your plants. They'll just sit there and rot. Give them the fast draining conditions they've evolved for, and they'll absolutely explode with growth.